Hey there, rainbow noodle system thingamajig here. What are we doing? I guess this is different. Hi, Crystal. Watch the show. Okay, so you're probably wondering where I'm at. I don't record in this room very often. This is the computer room, and it's full of junk. Yes, it's like sitting in a garage. Why? Because my husband's an IT guy, and he likes to hoard electronics and stuff in a very disorganized way. But that's neither here or there. That's not what we're here to talk about. Don't you like my shirt? I like it too. It has some pretty nifty saying on the back. See if you can read it. Can you read it? No, of course not. It says fine and can't read my shirt. Fine and bless. I don't know. I don't even know what it freaking says. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I changed the shirt around. It says fine and cloudless. Fine and cloudless. And then it's got this little wink face, an arrow. And it says adversity is the midwife. Can you read that? Of genius. All right. We liked it because it was on sale. We liked it because of the rainbow colors. We don't get these rainbow colors represented in our rainbows very often. It's usually your primary colors. But this has got teal, it's got magenta, it's got a light yellow. Yeah, we liked it. And now it's on backwards and we're kind of bothered by that. Yeah, is that this tag? Yeah. Okay, so what are we talking about? I don't know. I was just wearing my cool shirt I just got. I don't know what we're talking about. What are we talking about? Oh. I need to get my eyebrows waxed or plucked. Both. Look how bushy they are. Do you guys like this style of video? These vlogs? I mean, they're not really well organized and they're not really like properly framed. They're not like super bright light in my face. They're terribly, terribly orchestrated, but they're the real deal. They're the real deal where you get the real scoop of what's really going on in our brain without the show, without the fuss, without the rehearsal or anything like that. So, I really need makeup on, don't I? Oh my gosh. Hi. We're kind of in a decent mood, and I don't know if we have fronted before. I don't think we have, because we feel kind of foreign in this vlog style thing. So, what were we gonna say though? Hold on. Okay. Earlier tonight we had a therapy appointment and we thought that he did a very good job at helping us with an idea that might help us feel more united as a system. He called it a constitution, you know, like the American Constitution, and how all laws are built around that, and how people that think other people break laws can fall back to the United States Constitution to see if it really did break laws and whatnot, such as freedom of speech and freedom of religion and freedom of, I don't know my Constitution. Why are you asking me? Anyways, we need to have a constitution. We need to have some core beliefs and core values and core everything and core. Like that word core, I mean, I've been watching on Facebook. People are freaking out about the word core. No, core meaning like every single noodle needs to tell us what they stand for. What do you stand for? What is your number one thing in your world, right? And if we all can just get on the same page, let's say it's in a courtroom and we're trying to debate. We gotta respect the Constitution that we come up with as a system. So we're doing a Constitution. Yeah, this is not the video I want to go viral. Look at my eyebrows. Oh my gosh. No, but I think it would be awesome, the concept of a Constitution to help your system integrate. Oh yes. Okay, so something else that put us in a good mood. We found a video from June 13th that we did when we were first starting out. And we were so very excited and so very confident in our discovery, and also so very well balanced and somewhat integrated. Yes, you heard that right. When we discovered our system, we were pretty darn integrated. It wasn't until we started to purposefully dissect the noodles and peel us apart from each other, like we were all like hidden behind the mask. That's a Slurpee noodle sound. Oh my gosh, I am such the nerd. Okay, yeah, I don't really get to front very often. But anyways, so the Slurpee noodle sound was in the back of the mask. And yeah, okay, so we really identified with our part that we all played in programming the Kathy mask. Now we think of Kathy mask like a robotic mask that we put on to basically be functional to the outside world, to husband, to family, to friends, to jobs, stuff like that. And so yeah, now we are recognizing this dysfunctional system that cannot seem to get on the same page, and we can't figure out what's going on with us, and the therapists help us come up with this Constitution idea thing. And yeah, then we watched this video about our naiveness and our innocence and our purposefully taking these noodles and just opening them up again, going, what's going on with you? What's going on with you? What's going on with you? Because they were so closely knit and integrated in this mind, which is why I think our system was so hard to identify, because they weren't very split anymore. But there's definitely something going on behind the mask that made us fall apart once in a while, that made the noodle flop out of place. I just flipped you off. Flopped out of place, flop out of place, flop out of place, flop out of place. And we couldn't agree all the time. So when they're flopped out of place, am I making any sense here? I think I am. I think I'm making a lot of sense here. And what's also really interesting, we all have something positive to give to the system. So that's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on our Constitution as a system, and we're going to work at what core values each of us hold and what we can build from. Just love that idea. And yeah, maybe we will also upload, maybe that will be the next video. Okay, future Crystal, whoever is editing this video, you need to Google your June 13th video. I guess you can't Google it, but you can like YouTube it and look for it, and make sure that that's the next video. You got it? Make sure that's the next video. Maybe set it for a premiere. Yeah, let's set it for a premiere. That'd be cool. All right, we'll see how long it takes for Crystal to get editing, because today is the 8th of September, and she's got a lot of videos between now and by the time you watch this one. And we're only doing one a day. Gosh, can you imagine if we were posting more than once a day? Yeah, we'd be a little crazy. We're already a little crazy, but we'd be even more crazier to post more than once a day. But anyway, we're gonna let you all go. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. 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 Hi, Noodles. That's just weird for me to say. I am feeling really good lately. This is actually very, very strange for me, because I have not felt good in a long, long time. And the type of feeling good that I'm feeling is super liberated, super free, super relaxed, and like 5 dogs being let out of a cage. I think I've described that several times in previous videos, but if you had 5 dogs locked up in a cage for over 20 years and they weren't allowed to run around, they weren't allowed to bark, they weren't allowed to sniff or stretch their legs or be dogs, like, that's one analogy. The best analogy that I have right now is, imagine a room full of chairs at a town hall building, okay? And in the front of the room is a podium. And the podium itself is like a microphone, has a microphone, and there's somebody directing the room and explaining how the meeting is going to go, and what topics are going to be discussed, and what actions are going to be done, and what order things are going to be done in. And in your ideal town hall situation, citizens from the audience would be able to get a chance to come up to the podium and speak their concerns, have their voice be heard, talk about their grievances with the city or the mayor or the neighbors or businesses or whatever's going on in the town. And if they don't get a chance to speak at the podium, you can tell the restlessness of the audience is just really agitated and really like tense and really like pent up anger and bitterness and resentment and fear and sadness and disgust, and all these feelings are coming out of the audience because they've been sitting there for 20 something years without being able to have their chance to speak, right? This is how I'm envisioning it. So if I have a podium with a microphone and I'm directing all these people and telling them how we're going to do things, and then you hear somebody speak out of turn, that control freak at the front is going to tell that guy to shut up. It's going to tell that person to stop crying. It's going to tell that one that they're crazy for feeling these things. And I finally got rid of my control freak. I finally said, you know what, control freak, sit down. We are doing this my way. My way is going to allow everyone to speak. It's going to allow everyone to be who they are. It's going to allow everyone to have a chance to come forward and speak, be themselves, sing, dance, cry, whatever they need to do. Let them be. I have never been so free before. I have never been so happy to be me. And if you've watched my previous videos, I don't have too much on the topic. This is still very new. But if you watch my previous videos, you watch me describing what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling and the thoughts that are coming forth and the stuff that's coming up, and you hear me in my words and my vocabulary shutting things down and dismissing things and saying, I know, it's not this, I'm not just, you know, and I'm still trying to like orchestrate it and call it what I think it is, which I think is just Crystal being crazy, Crystal being crazy. And I'm like, no, Crystal, stop it. Stop trying to control things. Stop it. We are a collective bowl of spaghetti that has been touching each other for years, and you think we are all just one large, big noodle. But no, we are several different strands, and if you pull out those strands of spaghetti and color each of us our own separate, unique colors, we have our own views on things. We have our own opinions, we have our own feelings, we have our own identities. And I really, really, really have been struggling with this because a large part of me, a loud voice inside of my thought bank is denying this and dismissing it and calling me crazy and saying, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Are you trying to do it for attention? And I'm like, no, I have a big giant bowl of spaghetti that Crystal has been forcing to shut up for years. I want to let the spaghetti out. Does that make sense? I'm letting the spaghetti out. I'm letting each noodle come to the podium and speak their piece, having their turn, and then moving on to the next. So it's just really liberating. It's really liberating to feel so much better once I let go of the control freak noodle, and I'm just surrendering to The noodles. I'm surrendering to the noodles. Surrendering to the noodles. I really like that. Surrendering to the noodles. I'm just gonna, this video, so I've already spoken quite a long time. I am going to do a reaction or a discussion. I don't know what you call this. I'm going to put a little right here. We'll do it right here. There's a little box that's going to be right here of me listening to d.i.d. I'm terribly dissociated. I'm going to put a box here and I'm going to listen to dissociated. Mim? I only watched 1 or 2 videos of hers today, and this video I watched was so validating, so validating. So now I'm just going to speak to you what I'm thinking as she's speaking to me or whoever, and the thumbnail says, so you have d.i.d, which I still don't know if I do. I don't know if it's d.i.d, I don't know if it's OSDD, I don't know if it's nothing, I don't know. I'm just expressing to you how much freedom I am getting, feelings I am getting from being able to think of my noodles as separate, valid noodles, not one collective that I have to control. I'm letting go of my control freak. So even if it's not d.i.d, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot on how to accept who I am. And that's great. That's great, right? Thought I heard somebody. Okay, so we're going to listen to this. I'm the type of person that can't stand watching slow videos. So just to help speed up even this video that you're watching, I'm going to speed her up a little bit. So if you want to watch her video, click in the link below and go to her video. She's got monetization. You'll help her earn money with your views. I'm not monetizing because no one's watching me, but I'm just going to, I want to speak to you from someone that is trying to discover my identity. Even though I don't know what's going on, I want you to hear how she speaks. It's just beautiful. I love it. She's just doing really well with her helping the community, helping people who are struggling like me. Okay. Here we go.
So, you have dissociative identity disorder. Here's our advice to newly discovered or newly diagnosed systems. The first thing I want to say before I start listing anything is big rule number 1, prioritize your safety. Do not tell people you have dissociative identity disorder if you feel it isn't safe. Don't force your alters to communicate with you. They may be scared, they may be holding back for your safety. In some situations, it may not be safe for you to know that you have dissociative identity disorder yet. So if you are leaving notes to your alters, if you are leaving notepads and they're not writing in them, that doesn't mean that you don't have dissociative identity disorder. Not everybody is going to want to communicate with you at first. That's probably not a personal thing. It takes time. You may think, oh, but I'm trying so hard. Don't they like me? You know, what can I do? I can hear these voices in my head. I'm losing time, but I have no solid proof. Why won't they talk to me? There are reasons. You probably don't know them yet, and that's fine. Don't be afraid. You've been fine up to this point, right? Every single one of the hardest battles that you thought that you couldn't possibly survive, you have made it through to the other side. This is just another battle. But once you come out the other side of this one, things will be easier, I promise. It will take a while, but it will be easier.
Okay, so her first bit of advice that I really liked was, don't try to force the alters to come out and identify themselves. That is one of the biggest things I kept hearing about people who have d.i.d, or they're describing something that I identify with, but I didn't identify with this name thing and this personality thing. I don't ever recall being co-conscious with someone in my head that knows who they are, knows their name, knows what's going on, like they probably do. If there really is somebody up there, I have not been made aware of names and backgrounds and clothing styles. Like you watch these people who are experiencing this and they're just so dang sure of themselves, and I am so dang not, that I'm like, well, I don't have a name. I can give it a name. I should give it a name, right? I should name it. So I'm glad that she said that, because if I'm just now starting to unveil this and they're trying to see if they trust me or if I'm going to try to do the control freak thing again, yeah, I'm just open-minded to it. My dog wanted to come in. Okay, let's watch the rest.
Piece of advice number 1, possibly the most important. All your alters, all your voices, all your parts have an equal right to exist. Just because you've been the one who feels you're in control most and didn't know about the others, doesn't mean that you have any more of a right to this body or to the life that you've chosen to live than they do. They are worth just as much as you are. And that's going to be very difficult for you to understand at first. Like, no, I know it. Trust me, been there, understand. But there is never a first in dissociative identity disorder. You were all created to support each other. And if you want your system to work well, the first thing you need to do is to accept that. If you want your system to work, if you want to be able to move on with your life, continue living well, then the first thing that you need to do is accept your alters. You don't have to accept this disorder yet. Work on it if you can. But the first thing that's the most important is know that all your alters are valid. They are real. You're not making this up.
That was so validating, so validating. I even commented below. I told her, thank you so much. You have no idea how just saying that I am not making this up. I just need to come to terms with it. I need to allow each little audience member to have their turn at the podium. And not just once, every day. Every day they are there waiting for their turn to speak at this town hall meeting. Does that make sense? And I have been this control freak of a micromanager all of these years and trying to get all of these people in this room to agree with me and all of these people in this room to agree with these laws and these rules and these checklists in my mind and this, we got to do this and we got to do that, and I have been miserable. So yes, very, very, very liberated that I get to say, hey guys, the way I've been doing it is wrong. The way I have been doing it is wrong. And by I mean Kathy. Kathy came and integrated with Crystal. And Kathy, I purposely used her as my frontline manager to micromanage everything, to be codependent to what everybody else wanted of me. And I performed in that way. If a boy in high school wanted me to go down on him, I did. If my dad wanted me to be a good girl and not do that sort of thing, I told him I didn't. If my mom wanted me to tell her she was beautiful and skinny and all, I did. I mean, like, I had no voice. I let all of my voices, all of my opinions stay in the town hall chairs. I didn't speak up for myself. I never did. And now I'm in a marriage where I was miserable and I was unable to speak my truth, and I was begging to be heard internally. And I would make video after video after video trying to talk to myself. Crystal, wake up. I would try to tell myself, Crystal, I'm in here. I'm trying to wake up. And I was trying to be the loudest of the voices to speak. And there was a little girl inside of me that needed to be nurtured, and in a little annoying parrot voice that was very there's a P word for it. What's it called? I don't know what it's called. Patriotic thought. No, it's persecuted. Hey. Okay, so let's watch the next one.
Piece of advice number 2. It's normal for someone with dissociative identity disorder, or OSDD, to think, often, I'm making this up. This isn't real. This can't be real. Chances are, if you're thinking that, it's most likely real. The reason why many people tend to think that is because dissociative identity disorder is a disorder that is meant to be covert. You're not supposed to know about your alters until it's time, until it happens, because that's what kept you safe. Your dissociation, your innate belief of this isn't happening to me and this can't be real, is something that will reoccur over and over again. And that's why you might be thinking, I don't have dissociative identity disorder. I can't have dissociative identity disorder. Not me. This couldn't happen to me. It can. And it may well be. But nobody can make you accept that. People can give you advice. People can tell you their experiences and give you their opinions on your situation. But nobody can force you to be ready to accept whether you have this disorder or not. And if you are really not sure, please don't take this decision lightly. I know some people might think that it would be a lot of fun to have dissociative identity disorder. It's a lot harder than a lot of people make it seem, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible to live with. Many people live with dissociative identity disorder and live very, very successful lives in their personal life, business life, social lives. So take it seriously, but don't be afraid. We are here for you. And that leads us on to point number 3. My advice, which I get asked a lot, I think I have dissociative identity disorder. What do I do now?
So, hold on, let me take a drink. The part that really fascinated me with that was it's a very honest approach on wondering what the heck is going on in my head. Because I know that I created Kathy. I created her to protect myself, okay? And I know that people in the d.i.d community would not agree that that was a d.i.d experience. And I'm still very much hesitant to call it that. I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to be insensitive to what people really go through. But I was really going through something. I talked about that in a previous episode. And I was 13 years old, so it wasn't that impressionable child age range. There may have been sexual abuse when I was a child that I may have blocked out. There may have been other altars that were created that protected me from knowing what those were. I'm not going to dismiss that entirely because I really don't know. But I do know that the reason why I created Kathy was my own coping mechanism for the reality that I was facing every day. And integrating her into my day-to-day life, becoming Kathy as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as an employee, as a daughter, as a granddaughter, as a cousin, as a sister, any way, shape, and form that I could deny who I truly was behind these eyeballs, watching from the town hall, I allowed everyone else to tell me what to do. I allowed everyone else to make my decisions for me. And that's very much a codependent thing. I allowed Kathy to be codependent because I was too scared and too unable to be who I was, to find out who I was, to stand up for who I was. That's probably very normal, right? So what I'm describing, of course, is codependency and dependency, and very much not your typical d.i.d situation. So I'm not trying to take away anyone's experience from them. I'm just giving you my freedom here. My freedom was not found when I identified codependency, when I identified narcissism, when I identified depression. When I identified these things that were coming into my awareness, it really only kept me down longer, more. If I had a part of me that wanted to dance and sing and be happy and see the positive side of things, that other voice was dominant and said, nope, you're not allowed to be happy. Remember, you're depressed. You're codependent. You're being controlled. You have a narcissistic husband. You're not allowed to dance or sing and be happy. And then if I was happy and whatever, I'm like, why am I so happy? I'm not allowed to be happy. I'm in a miserable situation. Why do you keep doing this to yourself, Crystal? And if you look, I have several videos of me feeling conflicted in this cognitive dissonance of trying to be happy and figure out my miserable marriage at the same time. And it's like, how do I integrate these two? How do I integrate my want to be happy and this notion that I want to be free from this burden of this victim mind frame, right? So even if this is all just made up, which is what she just said, if you think you're making it up, or if you're not sure if it's real, it probably is. I can't put a whole lot of stock in that because she doesn't know me, of course. But what I'm saying is I can still value what I'm learning right now, right? Which is speak my truth. Let each person come to the podium and speak. It's a very great coping skill. Kind of like when therapists use the inside out characters in their therapy session with children. They say, okay, who's in charge right now? Who's in charge of the controls? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it disgust? Is it joy? Is it fear? And the child will point to fear and show the therapist that fear is in charge right now. I'm not speaking. I'm scared to go home. I'm being abused. Whatever the child's going through, they can point to these colors and have these colors speak to them. That is exactly what I'm going through. Is I want to be able to dance. I danced at Walmart today. I was dancing in the aisles and skipping as I'm grocery shopping. And I asked myself, why are you doing this? Aren't you sad and miserable and going through a lot? And I'm like, not right now. I'm not right now. I'm dancing and skipping and having fun at the grocery store. Let this person be at the podium, Crystal. Just let this person be here. Just let this person be right now. How liberating and free is that? So liberating and free. I know this is a very long video. I'll try not to talk so much. Let me go to the next one.
The first thing that you should do is go and look at our symptoms video, find the NHS page, have a look at the symptoms, see if they really do fit you. Then, if you feel comfortable, go and see a doctor. Explain your symptoms, explain that you've seen dissociative identity disorder and feel like you may fit these categories, these symptoms, list everything. If you have any notes, bring the notes with you. Notes from alters, notes from yourself, bring them with you. Any evidence that you have, bring it with you. If you don't have any solid evidence, that is fine. You do not need to be left notes in order to be diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. Don't be disheartened if you don't get a diagnosis. It takes years sometimes to get a diagnosis, but regardless of whether you do have an official diagnosis or not, that doesn't make you any more or less valid. That doesn't make your disorder any more or less real. If it's real to you, then that is what matters the most, because it's affecting you.
And that's exactly all I was going to say about that one. It may not be real or the same as how other people are experiencing their identity crisis, but my identity crisis came out of verbal abuse. Then I married a man who was verbally abusive. And through my crisis in my adult life, I have not been able to find anything for 15 years that makes me feel so free. And I know that d.i.d. is not a blessing. In many ways, it's a superhero power that the body can do to help protect the child from their trauma. Yes, but it's not something people are looking forward to getting a diagnosis on, right? I'm not looking forward to someone diagnosing or anything like that. But the honoring of each feeling and thinking of them as individual, it really is honoring and exciting and liberating to finally be able to be who I was meant to be, which is an integration of all the colors of the rainbow of my personality, not just one colored rainbow where I'm trying to force all of my thoughts to comply and be like each other. I want my thoughts to have their own identity. and I want to honor each one and give each one I took a shower this morning, and I hate showers. I don't like taking showers. I'm a really stinky person. I have very poor hygiene all my life because my dominant person that took care of those things hated showers. But this morning I took a shower and I allowed myself to enjoy the shower. That person that wanted to come to the podium and enjoy that shower loves the shower, loves how clean my hair feels, loves washing my face with the beaded face wash or whatever I was washing my face with. And I love smelling my arms with my lotion and everything. Like, I am not sure if I've ever allowed that person to come to the podium before. But now I can do things that I've never been able to do before, like take showers, because now I have someone that can be in charge of my showers, and I don't have to force my orchestrating person to say, we don't have time for showers, let's just forget the showers, nobody needs showers. I can actually say, you know what, this shower person, the person that loves showers, whoever that personality is going to take a shower. Am I making any sense? I'm talking way too much. Let me, if you are not okay with doctors.
If you don't feel comfortable going to a doctor, or you can't for some reason, you can't see a therapist, can't see a doctor, or you already have, the next thing I'd advise to do is, if you use Facebook, go and join some support groups. There are a lot of dissociative identity disorder and OSDD support groups out there. Even if you aren't sure, they will help you. That is what they're there for. We would not have accepted our disorder in the way that we did if it wasn't for the support of support groups on Facebook. It may sound silly, but honestly, there may be a lot of posts, even if you don't post, where you can read it and think, oh my god, that's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how it is for me. And hopefully, that will help.
I did join a d.i.d. OSDD support group, and I've asked a couple questions already, and I did get very supportive advice, because I just feel like by honoring what's coming up for me instead of denying it, it gives me a chance to speak about what I'm going through and how to sort it out and how to address it and how to just be free and allow it to happen. And yeah, I've tried talking to my therapist about it. I think I linked that conversation, with the therapist in a previous video. There may have been 2 videos if I remember correctly. But if you understand about this disorder more than I do, what I'm saying is it might take a while before there's a therapist willing to listen and a doctor that's willing to take a look at my symptoms or just listen to my experiences. I don't have to fit in a box in order for me to talk about my experiences and how honoring each voice, each noodle helps me. That's all it is. If honoring each noodle helps me, then that's enough for me. I don't need to have a diagnosis.
Please, don't label your alters with derogatory terms. You might not know their names, they might not have names, and you may find that the easiest way to identify them is to label them as the mean one, the evil one, the suicidal one, the crazy one, the depressed one. Please, don't do this. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you tell someone they are something, that's just going to reaffirm in their head that, oh god, all I am is depressed, or oh, they think I'm evil, so why should I change? Why should I communicate with them? Why should I help them when they think that I'm a horrible person? And hey, if they think that, then why not just prove it to them even more, you know? Alters are more than just the traits that you'll first see. Alters are more than just their most distinct personality traits. Yes, there may be alters that are much more depressed than others. There may be alters that are persecutors and try to make life difficult for you. If you want to know why, please go and have a look at our All About Alters video. I explain everything about different types of alters, why they act the way they do, and how to help. But if you label anybody in real life or in your head as something, that shrinks them down into something massively two-dimensional. Your alters are just as valid as real people. They have more going on inside them than just this one thing. You cannot shrink them down into characters in your head because that is not what they are. They have grown with you over time. They have had their own experiences. They have their own opinions on things. They may feel pain a little bit differently to you. They may... Oh my god. Ugh. They may experience things stronger than you or less strong than you, and that is fine. They are more than what you think of them, and by labeling them as something or continually telling them that that's what they are more likely to stay in that role than feel safe and accepted and able to come out to you as more than just what you think they are.
I don't know why this girl is just so, like, brilliant, but the way that she just said that makes me feel so happy as a group of people could be happy. Like, they're all cheering. Woo! Yay! Yes! We are not the depressed one. We are not the angry one. We are not the mean one. We are not the bitter one. We have our voice, and we have our thoughts, and we have our opinion. And even though they haven't come forward and said, testing, 1, 2, 3. Yes, I'm Mr. Smith, and I live across the street from the city hall, and I'd like to talk to you about the garbage schedule. I don't think it should be, or I think it should be, or whatever he's saying. Like, he didn't come right out and say that. He's been sitting there dormant for 20 years saying, let me speak, with the rest of the group chanting. And now he's waiting in line for his turn, twiddling his thumbs. And do you think the first thing he's going to say is his name? No, he's going to say, you need to go eat sauerkraut because I really like sauerkraut and I haven't had sauerkraut in a long time. I hate sauerkraut. But there was one time when I was pregnant that I was super craving sauerkraut, and I know that's normal for pregnancy. I'm just trying to give like an example of what somebody might randomly say that's not about their name. Man, I really sound really dumb and uneducated about this, and I know that, okay? So please don't knock me. Just because I'm uneducated doesn't mean I can't benefit from what I'm learning through this identity crisis that I'm having. I watched all the c-ptsd video stuff, and I've watched a few reviews on what they think of her self-diagnosing, and I'm so scared of coming across as insensitive and uneducated like she did. And I don't know if she was malingering or if she's really struggling with her identity like I am, but I want everyone to understand that no matter who it is, whether they have millions of followers or... I don't know why it cut out. Okay, so whether they have millions of followers or just a few subscribers like me, I really think that if you find something that fits with your healing, then it shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't matter how you identify with it or what specifics you identify with. Your healing is what's most important, and that is where I'm finding a lot of healing by allowing my noodles to come to the front of the podium and speak their truth. All right, let's watch the next one.
Don't try to rush things. It will take time. But do try to encourage inter-system communication, whether this means trying to talk back in your head to the voices that you hear, speaking out loud, because a lot of the time, alters, especially if they are near to the front, can hear what's going on in the outside world, or see what's going on in the outside world. It really does depend on the system. So speaking out loud, trying to think back in your head, leaving notes, all things like that are good ways to encourage inter-system communication. If you get a feeling when you're doing something, whether it feels like yours or not, for example, a feeling of, oh, I don't really want to do that for some reason, or, hey, look at that bike, I really want to go look at that bike, look at this toy shop, I want to go in, and you might think, oh god, no, like that's a weird thing to feel, I'm an adult, you know, I don't need to do that. That may be an urge that's bleeding through from one of your alters. Do it. If it's safe, if you have time, if you feel like you're comfortable with it, even not, you might want to push yourself a little bit. Let your alters know that you are trying to accept them and that you know that they're there. It can be very invalidating if an alter reaches out to you and you wipe it off as part of your imagination. That is totally okay to do because it's going to be very difficult to accept this, and I understand that, but you have to consider how your alters feel as well. So going out of your way to let them know, hey, I'm ready now. I'm sorry for what's happened in the past, but I'm ready now, and there's room inside for all of us. Just remember that your alters might be as scared as you are.
See, and that right there just really spoke to me, because I do recognize that I allowed the mask of Kathy to control things, and I integrated Kathy into who I was, and that's not who I want to be. I'm not a codependent person. I don't want to be. And the fact that I allowed Kathy to host the body for as long as I did, and now she is dormant. She is putting her hands up and saying, Crystal, you got this. And you can see the glow in my eyes. You can see the smile on my face. This is my true self saying, guys, I'm so sorry I let Kathy run the show for as long as I did. I'm so sorry. There's room here for all of us. Let's honor each of you, please. I'm really excited about that.
Try to be accepting and support all of your alters. Yes, that means the persecutors too. You cannot have a well-functioning system if you're not trying to work with all of your alters. That might seem impossible. That might seem like the very last thing you want to do, and you think, no, Chloe, you're overstepping, you don't understand, stop, I'm clicking off this video right now. That's fine. Take your time. It's going to be different for every single system. But in the long run, you don't have to try and work with every alter at once or at the beginning. Take it slowly. Like I said, try not to rush things, but at the end of the day, you will have to communicate with all of your alters. And it's okay if you can't reach them all. It's okay if they don't want to talk back. Don't rush things. It will happen. Don't worry. Remember, they've all got their own opinions, and they're all trying to look after your safety and their safety. You will be okay.
I do have persecuting ones. I might have one or two, if not more. But my persecuting ones don't want to persecute. My persecuting ones have been there to try to protect me, I recognize, and they've been there to protect me from things that I feared and things that I was not strong enough to handle. And they warned me about a lot of things. So I really don't want to talk down about them, but I recognize how difficult it was for me to even accept hearing the negative thoughts that I would hear and the crap that they would tell me to do, like give up on myself and leave my family and frame my husband for murder. That was another video. I wonder if I could find that video and link it. It was nuts. It was nuts. I do not agree with how much chaos I've had, but I do agree that in order for us to live in harmony, we all need to work together. We need to all have a turn at the podium. We all need to have a turn at deciding what the body and is going to do and how we're going to live this life. And we need to live in a beautiful rainbow, not in a one shade rainbow that I was trying to create for myself. All right, I think this is the last one. Positivity and love.
Strive to bring positivity and love to your system. Surround yourself with things that make you happy. Surround yourself with things that make your system happy, that make your alters happy. Let them know that you're thankful for what they've done, that you accept them. Draw them things. Make them things that make them happy, just like you'd want someone to do for you. Let them know that you accept them. Give them the love that you always wanted. Give them the support that you always strived for. Everything that you wished you had. They probably feel the same way. That's why they're there. That's why you're there. This is your second chance at being able to love the child in you that didn't get what they needed. Make it a good second chance.
No, so it wasn't the last one. Okay, so one of the first alters to present themselves was my little girl, little Crystal, I called her. Little Crystal was begging Kathy not to continue with the charade of me and my husband's marriage anymore. Begging to be heard, crying like a little 6-year-old hiding in the corner. Little Crystal was begging for her mom to listen. And I had to stop in my tracks for a second and recognize how miserable the room was the town hall. I'm calling it a town hall because that's how I imagine it. And if you see this little girl running up to the podium and this control freak orchestrating the room, demanding, micromanaging how people are supposed to shut up and not talk, and we all got to do it one way, and this little girl tugging at my dress. Crystal, Kathy, Crystal, please, please don't go back in the room. He's just going to yell at us again. He's just going to call us names again. It's just going to hurt some more. Please, please, please don't go back in the room. Please. Keep me safe. Keep me safe. And the little girl didn't want a chance to speak at the podium. She was just begging Kathy not to go back to the room, you know? And I bent down. I'm going to show you a picture, right? I bent down in my mind's eye and I stroked her face and I patted her on her head and I listened and I said, it's okay. We don't have to go back in there. Let's just sleep on the couch tonight. Let's just sleep on the couch. And that was the hardest thing I'd ever had to do in my marriage, was not going to bed with him. And that was the first my first step into Kathy letting go of the control, letting go of the mask, to listening to another option besides what Jim wanted her to do. I know I'm not making any sense, but that's okay. None of this is meant to make sense. And I'm going to watch number 9, final notes and reassurance. She's already reassured so much, and I just really appreciate her for helping me through this, even if it's not what you all think it is, even if I'm not who I'm just being super transparent and honest right now. It is nuts up there in my head. I don't understand what's going on with me. But this fits more than anything ever has. So I need to honor it and just go see where it goes.
Protect each other. Subscribe to other YouTube channels that aren't just associated. Look for the entropy system, multiplicity and me. I'll leave some links below. There are many, many, many fantastic YouTubers out there who give incredible information, advice, support. But above all, the last thing I have to say is know that you're not alone. You're not alone out here. You're not alone inside. And that is terrifying. But you will be okay.
I'm so happy I've stumbled across her. I've been watching so many different YouTube things about d.i.d, and because I didn't fit what it looked like for them, I didn't have what it looked like for them, I felt very alone in my understanding on what really was going on up here. If I couldn't get the support from my own therapist, who I see every week, and I have no problem talking to him about it, if I can't dive into this further on my own because it doesn't look like what somebody else has, then I'm just right back to being confused with what do I do with all these voices. So by listening to Chloe's Nim, what is her name? Nim? Chloe? By listening to her, I gotta watch more videos of hers. This is only the second one that I saw. By watching more videos, by listening to her today, what I'm saying is she validated that confused, scared little self that made me wonder if I was making this up, that made me wonder if I needed to fit a specific mold in order to give myself validation. She gave me all the validation I need. I don't need the label in order to honor my voices. I don't need the label in order to do exactly what she said and treat all of my voices as equal. All of my noodles are equal noodles, okay? They just have they're just different from each other, and that's okay. So I'm sorry if I'm kind of going crazy, but I don't want to say that I'm going crazy because I know that's not the correct terminology. I feel like I'm going crazy because I'm trying to identify and fit somewhere, and if it doesn't fit into this box and people in that community feel like it should fit in that box before they will accept me, then I must be going crazy, because I need to make sense of this, and I appreciate the opportunity to honor each voice as its own separate noodle and be present with each thought and honor each thought and be still with each thought and allow each thought to speak at the podium and dance in the grocery store aisles and cry when it wants to cry and scream when it wants to scream and sleep when it wants to sleep and eat if it wants to eat, or not eat if it doesn't want to eat. Whatever that noodle wants to do, I need to honor each one, and that's probably the same for you. If you don't know if you have it, and you don't know if you do, and you're not sure how to make sense of your identity crisis, I recommend slapping different numbers on the thoughts or colors on the thoughts or names on the thoughts, but don't do what she recommended. Don't put negative word associations to that. I started doing that, and I recognize where I was starting to do that. Okay, this has been a really long video. Thank you for watching, and you can subscribe if you want, but I'm not expecting you to. You can comment below if you disagree or agree, but I don't need your validation. Sorry. Nim and Chloe gave me all I need right now, so I gotta go talk to my town hall people. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.